Elton John was not always Elton John. He was born Reginald Kenneth Dwight in 1947 in Middlesex, England. As a young boy, he was shy but deeply drawn to music. His parents' marriage was troubled, but he found comfort in the piano. By age 4, he could play tunes he heard on the radio. His grandmother was his biggest supporter, encouraging him to practice. At school, he was known as the quiet kid with glasses, but when he touched the piano, something magical happened. No one could ignore his gift. Reginald was not destined for a normal life. Music was already shaping him into someone the world would never forget. By the time Reginald was 11, he won a scholarship to the Royal Academy of Music in London. He spent hours learning classical pieces, but his true love was rock and roll. He admired artists like Elvis Presley and Little Richard. While others were studying Beethoven, Reginald dreamed of flashy costumes and loud concerts. He worked part-time playing in pubs, entertaining small crowds with his talent. These early performances gave him confidence and experience. He wasn't yet Elton John, but he was already building the foundation for superstardom. In the 1960s, Reginald joined a band called Bluesology, but he wanted more than being just a background pianist. He needed a name that stood out. Inspired by two of his bandmates, he created a new identity, Elton John. With a bold new name, he felt free to reinvent himself. Around this time, fate introduced him to a lyricist named Bernie Taupin. Together, they began writing songs that blended Bernie's words with Elton's melodies. This partnership would become one of the greatest in music history. In 1970, Elton released the song Your Song. It was simple, emotional, and unforgettable. The world suddenly noticed him. Critics praised his voice, his piano, and his style. Soon, Elton was performing in America, where audiences went wild for his energy. His concerts weren't just music, they were spectacles. With outrageous outfits and larger-than-life glasses, he stood out in every way. Elton John wasn't just another singer, he was becoming a superstar who could command the stage like no one else. By the early 1970s, Elton John was unstoppable. Hits like Rocket Man and Tiny Dancer made him a global sensation. His albums sold millions, and his concerts filled stadiums. Elton didn't just play the piano, he attacked it with passion. Fans never knew what to expect: sequined suits, feathered hats, or platform boots. Every show was a surprise. He became a cultural icon, representing freedom, color, and fun. But behind the glitter, Elton was under pressure to keep the hits coming. Stardom was a dream, but it also came with heavy challenges. While the world saw Elton's success, he privately struggled. Fame brought money and luxury, but also loneliness. He turned to drugs, alcohol, and wild parties. His life looked glamorous from the outside, but inside, he was lost. He admitted later that he was insecure, often hiding behind costumes and sunglasses. His friendship with Bernie Taupin helped keep him grounded, but even Bernie couldn't save him from his darker battles. Elton's career was flying high, but personally he was crashing. By the 1980s, Elton's addictions grew worse. He faced health scares and personal heartbreaks. His relationships failed, and he felt trapped in a cycle of excess. At one point, he confessed to eating disorders and deep sadness. Despite his struggles, he still made music, with songs like I'm Still Standing becoming an anthem of survival. But behind the lyrics, he was fighting for his life. Elton's story shows that even legends can feel broken inside, no matter how bright their spotlight shines. In the early 1990s, Elton decided to change. He entered rehab and fought his addictions. It was not easy, but he slowly rebuilt his life. In 1992, he founded the Elton John AIDS Foundation, using his fame to raise awareness and funds for a cause close to his heart. He also reconnected with his music, writing powerful songs that reflected his journey. Elton was no longer just an entertainer. He was a survivor, a fighter, and a voice for those in need. Elton's personal life also took a turn for the better. In 1993, he met David Furnish, a filmmaker who became his life partner. Their relationship gave Elton stability and joy. They later married and built a family together, raising 2 children. For a man who once felt alone in the world, Elton had finally found love and belonging. This new chapter gave him strength, and his concerts became not just performances, but celebrations of life. Today, Elton John is celebrated as one of the greatest musicians of all time, with over 300 million records sold, countless awards, and unforgettable songs. His legacy is unmatched. His farewell tour reminded fans that while he may step away from the stage, his music will never fade. From Reginald Dwight to Elton John, his journey has been one of transformation, survival, and triumph. He showed the world that even through pain, music can heal. Elton John is not just a star, he is a legend who will inspire generations forever. In 1997, the world mourned the tragic death of Princess Diana. Elton John, who was a close friend, honored her with a new version of his earlier song, Candle in the Wind. Performed at her funeral, the song moved millions around the globe. It became one of the best-selling singles of all time, giving comfort to people everywhere who were grieving. For Elton, it was not just a performance, it was a farewell to a friend he loved dearly. The moment showed his ability to connect deeply with people's emotions through music. Elton John didn't stop with pop music. He ventured into the world of musicals, bringing his unique sound to Broadway and beyond. In 1994, he worked on Disney's The Lion King, writing songs like Circle of Life and Can You Feel the Love Tonight, which won him an Academy Award. Later, he created the music for shows like Billy Elliot and Ada. His talent proved limitless, crossing from rock concerts to theater stages. Elton wasn't just a rock star anymore. He was a storyteller who could touch audiences of all ages. In 2018, Elton John announced his farewell Yellow Brick Road tour. He told fans it was time to step away from traveling the world so he could spend more time with his family. But before retiring, he wanted to give fans one last journey through his music. The tour became one of the biggest in history, selling out arenas everywhere. Night after night, fans sang along to the songs that had defined their lives. Elton's farewell wasn't an ending. It was a grand celebration of everything he had given to music. In 2019, Elton's story reached the big screen with the film Rocket Man. The movie showed his journey from shy Reginald Dwight to global superstar Elton John. Unlike many films, Elton wanted it to tell the truth, the good and the bad. Actor Taron Egerton played him, bringing his struggles, triumphs, and music to life. The film was both a fantasy and a confession, showing the world the pain behind the glitter. For Elton, Rocket Man was a way of saying, "This is who I really am." Today, Elton John is more than a musician. He is an activist, philanthropist, and cultural icon. Through the Elton John AIDS Foundation, he has raised hundreds of millions to fight HIV/AIDS. He has supported young artists, championed LGBTQ+ rights, and used his platform to spread kindness. His journey from a lonely boy at the piano to a world-changing legend proves the power of resilience and creativity. Elton once said, "Music has healing power." His life is living proof of that truth.